Hi there, welcome to Prime Time. I'm Paul Orford, and today I'm here with Tony from Monk Communications, who it's fair to say is one of the industry leaders when it comes to PR within our industry. Now, the name or the phrase legend gets bandied around quite a lot, and it's fair to say that Tony is one of them. It's a moniker very wisely used. So, Tony, could you tell us about yourself and how you got into this industry?
Yeah, so I've been in PR for close on 3 decades, and been working with the CFD spreadbet FX space for the last 20 years, and I don't know. I enjoy the market. I'm a bit of a markets geek. I understand what's going on. I can help clients talk about whether it's talking about what's happening in the underlying market or explaining more complex reg issues or liquidity issues, whatever. I can just cover those bases. So I enjoy doing it, and I think that's hopefully it's that old adage. If you enjoy what you're doing for a job, it just becomes
Okay, so Tony has been, and it's not meant to sound in a mean way, obviously, but you've been in this industry for so long. You were here really at the birth of the internet when it come to marketing for our ecosystem and our module.
Yeah, I've seen massive changes in terms of how that PR landscape works. Obviously the rise of the internet has changed everything. We've also seen a massive contraction in terms of print media, which is where when I started out in this industry, that's what we were doing. We were doing, it was take a press release, get it into the paper, get it into a trade mag, and everyone was happy. But now it's so different in terms of having to generate content, and everyone's their own publisher. It's the very nature of your whole show and your magazine. It's about creating the content and putting it in the right place, but writing it in a way that gets the message across to the client.
Okay, now I've always kind of been a bit skeptical about PR people because I had this image of I've had some bad experiences, should we say? Okay, what? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's people just with bottles of Bollinger and putting a motivational quote by Barack Obama on a Facebook tweet or something like that. That was the limit of what they kind of done for me. So, what makes a good PR person?
I think what you have to be able to do is explain the story. When I'm talking to clients or prospects for the first time, I'm not going there saying, I know this journalist. What I'm saying is, I understand your business. Yeah. I can help articulate that into a story, into a conversation where people are going to want to talk about you and your business, and build profile that way. I think it's it's so important to be able to the core of what our industry is. It's about helping clients explain what they do.
Okay, so you've been in the industry since the evolution of social media, the internet, etc. What do you think is the next big move forward?
Well, I think where we're going to see potentially see a big move now is with the likes of Google constraining the amount of content that's out there, because there is so much content now being self-generated by people who are approved Google publishers, so it hits on Google News and whatever, that you can't actually find. There's too much noise. You can't find the story you want. So I think something's going to have to change in terms of whether it's a quality control and Google News has done something in the last 18 months or so, where they became more curated in their content. That got some pushback, so they now have 2 models. But I think there's going to be some changes there that is going to start. It's going to make it harder in our industry. In the CFD FX space, it's going to make it harder there for people to get the face time that they want on the internet, because, as I say, at the minute, if I want to search for why did the pound spike yesterday against the euro, it's just all noise. It's very difficult to find out it was because of anticipation over what Theresa May was going to say, and then she came out with that, and it didn't get a good reception. And to be able to pin it down like that is getting very difficult now.
I think noise is the right phrase, because there is a lot of content out there, and you really have got to cut through the nonsense, essentially. Yeah. The next thing I really want to touch on was AI. Now, again, I'm really naive when it comes to your area.
Yeah.
But in the very near future, or maybe there is already, I don't know, but will there be a technology that can see what the trending stories are, and just an AI can make a story and take the human out of this?
Again, I think that comes back to the quality point, because where does it end? Do you just have machines creating stuff that's then being read by machines? Yeah. And the personality falls out of it altogether. I've seen some broker service providers move down that route, trying to automate content, and they're having some success. But I think you've got to be very targeted about where that can go. Because obviously where it risks ending up is that you have the AI creating the news that's being fed into an algo that's moving the market, that's creating the news, and you have this this quite bizarre situation where the human aspect has been taken out of it altogether, and the market is being driven by the news algo. So I think there's who knows where it'll end up, but I can see flaws in that system, which again is mentioned about noise before. I think it's contributing to that as well. That's part of the problem there. Because
also, I think maybe our palate might change. For example, if I could make it next to, say, processed food, where it's easy to get a hold of, cheap, etc. If you don't have that big budget to have someone of the quality of standard like yourself, you could just get an AI who can just cobble together something just to get you content out there.
But I think, again, that goes back to the point I was making about Google, where I think they're going to have to start doing something to, and it could well be that the content is being produced by individuals, but there's going to have to be something going on in terms of validation, or people are going to want a more curated experience without it suddenly becoming, is it Fox or CNN? You're going to want to be able to know, this is where I can go to find out what's happened at this point in time, or what might happen at some point in the future.
All right, well, look, we've learnt a wealth of information there from Tony, one of the absolute industry leaders. What's the best way that people can get hold of you, Tony?
Look at my website, monkcommunications.com, check me out on LinkedIn, or just ping me an email, Tony@monkcommunications.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll be back soon.